backing up on. And so I'm Brian Hooks. I'm the Assistant Director of Landscape Services here in RMP, and I'm here with my illustrious co-chair, Miss Allison Hong. And here's our team that you see here that we put together this great speaker to talk to us about how to use this Chat GPT and AI. So I'll hand it over to Allison to give you a little bit more information about us.
Hi, all. Thanks for joining. We are recording this session so that we can share it with others, or you can refer to this link later if you need it for reference. So again, welcoming everyone, just like Brian said. And look, he wears the same shirt he was wearing in that photo. Look, excellent. So thank you for joining us. I'm from EH&S, co-chair of the RMP Inclusion, Diversity, Equity Action Task Group. I see a lot of our members are also on here. They're on the screen as well, but they can wave if they so feel like it. Yeah, there we go. All right. So we, as part of your RMP IDEA task group, have been trying to obviously push a lot of us together as community and do reach outs, make sure we're hearing feedback from you all and trying to promote more communication and enhance our ability just to understand people and how to maybe do things better on a general basis. So these were some of the things that our group has been accountable to. We're just going to mute out some folks here. Sorry. And then we just also wanted to remind you, we will have some upcoming events. You will see some emails in the future from us. We do have an upcoming day of service. We'll be at the San Diego Food Bank on Saturday, June 8th. It's for a couple hours. Last time we ended up bagging some fruit for some seniors in need. And then we have our main event, in essence, Celebration of Cultures is going to be December 4th, 2024 this year. So if you want to save the dates and look out for those emails, there will be registration for both. And so we'll be sending those out shortly. And then on the day of service, we're actually trying something new where if you can't make it to the day of service, we're going to try and put out some food bins so we can collect either canned foods or items to take to the food bank on June 8th with us. So hopefully you can join us for the actual date, but if you can't, please feel free to help donate. So we'll be putting out boxes at some of the areas around the different RMP offices, and more information will follow on that. And so I want to go ahead and introduce Jeanette, and I'm going to give her back the screen. And so Jeanette's joining us from UC Riverside, but actually Center of Excellence, and I'm going to let her do more of her introduction because I do not do it justice. So thank you, Jeanette, for joining us and teaching us about artificial intelligence.
Sure, it's amazing what you're doing there at UC San Diego, and I wish we had this at all campuses, just the outreach and just getting people up on the most current topics. So let's get started. Millions and millions of people already use artificial intelligence and have been using it for decades. It's something, if you've ever used your phone, your face to unlock your phone, that's an example of artificial intelligence. If you ever used Google Maps or any tool to find your way, the fastest way through UCS, through traffic to get to campus, you've already used artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is not new, but what is new are the tools. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. And I did want to preface with the idea that I'm not an expert in artificial intelligence. I don't think anybody can be, but I am very, very skilled at doing the least amount of work possible. And I do that leveraging tools like artificial intelligence. So that's what I wanted to bring you today. 7 things that you can do with artificial intelligence, and a discussion of the ethics and risks that come along with it, and the changes coming, and the changes that are already here to help you have a coherent conversation with others who may be talking about this as well. So here are the things that you can do today with artificial intelligence. You can use it to present slides. Artificial intelligence can be your artist and draw images for you. It can write code and solve problems, get data, analyze data for you. Artificial intelligence can translate languages, can be your voice to narrate audio, and even produce videos if you wanted to. So let's talk a little bit about how that is done. First, it's used to present slides. So I'm going to, I don't know, if you've ever done this, but I have had to create an entire presentation from scratch, but only had maybe an outline or maybe notes. And so if you've ever had to do that and only had a skeleton of your topic that you needed to present, there's an AI tool that can help you with your presentations. So I'm going to show you something called slidesai.io, and this is what it looks like. It's actually not a separate software. As you can see, I just installed it as an extension in Chrome, and I'm using Google Slides. When I open up this extension in Google Slides, and it gives me a little prompt. And what I've done beforehand is I had this script that I'm just going to copy and paste into this prompt. I'm going to tell it that I want an educational slide, maybe instead of 10 slides, I want it to be in English. Oh, and they have themes. I'm going to choose a theme. And right after I select the theme that I want it to look like, it right away populates for me the slides with words, and not just words, but graphics that match each of my slides. And you can see in the upper right-hand corner that I'm searching for graphics to replace the one it chose, because maybe I want PPE to talk about gloves and tools. And if there's something that I don't like, I can edit it just like you normally do in a slide. But as you saw, probably within 5 seconds, it generated a full-on presentation for me. And all I had to do was copy and paste some notes I had or a script related to a topic. So that is slidesai.io. Pretty cool. Slidesai.io, enter text, and slidesai.io will create slides and graphics for you. One of my biggest fears is waking up and not being prepared for a presentation, though. Not even having notes and not even having an outline, just a topic. So if you had a topic and you had to present that day in a training that you weren't prepared for, go to Tome. So Tome looks like this. It's a basic website. You don't need any special tools. You basically just go and create something new and you give it a topic. So let's just say I'm going to give it a topic called Artificial Intelligence for Risk Management. Literally about 5 words, artificial intelligence for risk management. And you can see it's creating a presentation for me. It's creating an outline. It's populating it with words just based on my short set of words, creating not just a presentation, but you can see it's starting to add graphics. And what's different about Tome is it's creating it's creating generative artificial intelligence graphics. So this is original art. It's using something called DALL-E that based on your words, it's gathering and synthesizing images and creating new things that match your slides. And if there's anything that I don't like, you can see I can select on the right a little drop down and just type in words to describe what I want to see on the slide. And then when I click on generate, like I entered depict a university administrator worried about artificial intelligence, after I generated it, I can select any of those different graphics and it'll go ahead and create a brand new slide with the brand new image that it created from scratch. So Tome, enter one sentence, and Tome will create an outline, text, and original images and artwork for you. So you can create a training in 2 minutes, actually less time than that. Artificial intelligence can help you present. It can also help be your artist to draw images. Using just a web browser, you can be an artist. The tool I'm going to show you today is Canva. Canva.com has been something that's been available for years. So you just need to create an account. It's absolutely free. There's an app called Text to Image. And the way this app works is you, on the left side, like I'm showing you, just enter the things that you want to see. I want to see a lab worker in a white lab coat, maybe with nitrile gloves. And it's giving me brand new art that I can choose from. And what if I don't like the art it gives me? What if I wanted like maybe a background that was much more whiter and plain? Well, I can regenerate that image and it'll give to me even the same images with a different background. Perhaps I don't want a white background. Maybe I want a purple background. Well, it'll redo that same set of images and give me now a purple background with the same art. Perhaps I want an office worker at a desk using a mouse, but in a bad posture because I want to teach it during ergonomics. Well, it gives me that bad posture, but here's the thing. If I tell it, give me the same thing in good posture, it'll go back and redraw that image in using the correct posture. So Canva, you just write a description and Canva will create original images and artwork, and it'll make it accurate, unlike some of the images that you try to Google today. And by the way, everything that I'm sharing and talking about today is free. You can sign up and create free accounts. There's nothing that you need to pay in any of the tools that I'm sharing. So that was Canva, but you might hear about something called Midjourney. Midjourney is the same thing. It's a generative AI tool that allows you to create art by just writing out a description of what you want to see. But it's different because it creates such lifelike and surreal images that are quite beautiful and so amazing that you can't tell if it's real or not. And we'll talk about that later. So that's Midjourney. Artificial intelligence can help you write and solve problems. You've probably heard about ChatGPT. It's probably the most well-known of them so far. And that's because it provides one of the most simplest responses to complex questions. It can write messages, but it can also create entire playwrights and essays. Sometimes you just need a tool that writes for you and as quickly as possible. So in this example, I'm going to show you that you can create a script out of it for an entire video. So I'm writing in the prompt, write a script for a 10-minute video about introduction to sexual harassment in California. And you see how quickly it's creating the script. And not only did it write me a script for this 10-minute video about the topic I wanted it to write about, it gave me a shot list. So between the narrations, it told me what kind of images I needed to take in the real world so I can match it up with the script. So Canva, you write your requirements, whether it's for a video or for an email to your boss to give you a raise, whatever it is, and ChatGPT can create a script or create a set of words or some an essay for you. So what I just shared with you is an example of a prompt. Prompt engineering is a very actually a growing career to help people write things a certain way so that they can get back information more efficiently. So an example of a prompt you can write is to write a document in the tone of somebody. So you can tell it, write an email in the tone of my mother so that it can sound better than however I would email somebody, or consult with me. Criticize this document, criticize this emergency plan as if you were Allison and trying to do it at the campus-wide level. Explain something to you. Explain to me this topic of workers' comp as if I'm a 10th grader, because sometimes I just need that information simplified at that bulleted level. So prompt engineering is something that we'll talk about later, but it's and we'll actually share a cheat sheet on what more things that you can write in a certain way to help you get the information that you're looking for. Scripts are certainly one thing that you can create, but not only that, you can actually take those scripts, whether you generated it or if ChatGPT generated it, and it can translate it for you. So check out this example where I've taken the script that it gave me, and now I'm telling it, translate this script. I didn't even copy and paste it again. I just said, translate the script into Vietnamese. And do you see how it not only is translating it, but it's also adding those marks above and symbols above the letters? Well, I told it, well, hold on a second. Why don't you translate it into Mandarin? And it not only remembered the script beforehand, but it started to rewrite it with the special characters that you find in Chinese writing. So paste a script or any document really, choose a language, and ChatGPT will translate your words. So not only can you use it to translate, but you can also use it to generate assessments if you needed to create a test or create questions for somebody to learn from your document. So here's an example of ChatGPT taking a script, and I'm telling it, create a 5-question multiple choice test based on the script. and do it in English because I just told it to translate it into Mandarin, but I want it to give me a test in English. So you see how quickly it creates the question and answers and gives you a key. Well, now I told it, put it in a table with, you know, like the answers in a separate column from the question. And so some of this work, like to just create something simple like a test, can take hours for somebody like me doing training, but this did it in seconds. So look at AI like ChatGPT as a little helper to do some of the work that you kind of don't want to do, but you need to do, but that just takes a lot of time. So ChatGPT, artificial intelligence can not only help you generate content, information, translate, but it can also help you get and analyze data. Did you know that ChatGPT can read databases? It can be your own analyst. So this is just data analysis. So I'm saying act as a data analysis and tell me a story about this data that I just literally copied and pasted from Excel. No formatting. Well, it figured out the formatting on its own and it told me a story. This data set appears to contain evaluations of various online safety courses, specifically laboratory safety refresher. It told me the most common topics people were saying they learned from it. And I asked it to calculate what percentage of the overall reactions were good or very good. And just a second there, it actually calculated that about 87% were good or very good reactions. So it not only told me a story as an analyst, it told me a story about data I just randomly pasted into it with no formatting. It calculated information from it. It really just was able to figure out how I was presenting data without a spreadsheet, which is something you can do too. You can just paste data randomly from a table without formatting, and ChatGPT will summarize the patterns. And that's something that has taken me hours to do, sometimes days, to look at a huge spreadsheet, make sense out of it, and create a narrative that's I can use in a report or in a presentation. But you don't even need to have data ready. You can just have an idea, and artificial intelligence can create databases for you. So in this example, I'm going to show you how it mines data for you. I had asked it to give me information about University of California campuses and their injury rates. So it gave me a table. And I said, well, take that data and add to it lost work days per year for every campus. It scoured the internet, and in a matter of seconds, it came back with data for every campus that they have from their websites. Then I said, well, that's great, but I also want you to add a column to this data with a number of employees by campus. So actually, before I do that, I actually told it, I really want you to sort this data by the highest amount of lost work days. And see how quickly it told me, sure, here's the same table sorted by the highest amount of lost work days. And it right away organized the data for me. And then I asked it another question to add to that table. And the question I'm asking is, add a column. Can you add a column for the number of employees by campus? It looked throughout all the internet in a split second, and it's now giving me that data and now adding a column for total number of full-time employees by campus. So you can do this yourself. You certainly can spend the time to look at all the information out there and put it into a database, organize it, sort it, or you can take 5 seconds and ask an AI tool to do it for you. So ask AI or ask ChatGPT to locate and summarize information into a table. So those were examples of ChatGPT, but UCSD is really, really close to launching Triton GPT, which is the same thing. It's a generative artificial intelligence, except it's based on better data management, security, and protections. So I'll show you an example in a second. But UCSD is really paving the way in artificial intelligence in other ways. There are Tritonlytics. So you may not have known this, but AI is already in some of the surveys and tools that have already been used out there. UCSD will also be creating chatbots and virtual agents. For example, in IT services, they'll be launching in ITS ServiceNow a chatbot to respond to simple basic questions. At UCSD Health, there's Dr. Chatbot that has helped with patient and doctor messaging. There's training you can look at right now online in the UC Learning Center, AI Essentials 1 and 2, even an overview of Triton GPT. And you will see pretty soon integrations into not just ServiceNow, but the Microsoft products like Outlook and Word and Excel and Google with artificial intelligence tomorrow. So here's an example of what Triton GPT looks like, and it's exactly ChatGPT, except it's protected and data. So in this example here, we've asked it to give us the best places to eat at UC San Diego, and it looks at what's on campus and gives specific information, such as the food court at the Price Center, maybe the coffee shop at the Student Center, or the Beachside Cafe. And so it's very customized. Triton GPT is very customized to information, policies, and procedures on campus. In another example, we're going to ask it to tell you about parking. And I'm sure you figured out the best place and way to park, but some of us haven't. So I'm asking, what's the best place to find parking on UCSD campus and what time should I arrive? And it gives kind of secret information that you would only know if you worked there for a long time, such as maybe you can park in lot P704 or 705 and take the shuttle and get dropped off at the loop stop, and then, head your way to Triton Tours, and that's the fastest way to get on campus. So Triton GPT really kind of gets specialized information that is very specific to San Diego, and it keeps information a lot more secure than ChatGPT. And there's a lot more out there. You can see this in the training, but there is, for example, assistants that they're building into Triton GPT. There's an assistant that'll help you create a job description, or a fund manager coach that'll help you know how to set up payroll specifically at San Diego without having to read the policies yourself, although you should still read the policies. So it's really exciting what's happening at UCSD. I think right now, Triton GPT is in pilot mode. I believe that there are office hours with ITS that you can join to learn more about it. And sometime in the next couple months in the spring, you will hear a lot more about it and get access to Triton GPT. But hopefully what we're talking about today helps you understand more the capabilities that you can get with any AI. But what if the data or information you need is not on a web page? Neither ChatGPT nor Triton GPT can actually read documents, but there is something else out there that can. So here's an example of something called ChatDoc. Often in the work that I do, I'm given a very technical document or a governmental document that is written with a lot of letters and a lot of words, and I'm asked to understand it and summarize it. Well, I can either copy the URL it came from, or I can save it. And you're seeing me now just taking a copy of that PDF. I'm uploading it to this website, and this website will analyze it for me and will completely understand it. And so now I'm going to ask it a question on the bottom right-hand corner about it. I'm asking ChatDoc to summarize this in 7 bullet points as if I was an 8th grader. And very quickly, it summarized it in very easy to understand bullets as if I was an 8th grader. But I'm in the world of training and education, so I'm asking it, what training should universities provide to its researchers to understand the requirements of this document? And it gives me exactly what we need to pass on to researchers, tells me the disclosures that I need to go over, and then I tell it, oh, it's pretty complicated. But it allows me, as you can see, to jump between the different sheets where it cites the information that it's giving to me, because I just told it, explain as if I was a 5th grader, and it gave me that information, and it also pointed out where in the document it got to that conclusion. So ChatDoc, provide a website or a file, and ChatDoc will summarize the information for you. So sort of like Cliff Notes, but with documents that you're supposed to read. So artificial intelligence, as you've seen, can create information, generate information, read information, but it can also help you translate into different languages, just like I showed you. You might be familiar with something like this in Google Translate, where you write out the words on the left, and on the right-hand side, it'll translate it for you into any language that you drop down from the list. But it doesn't just do that by you typing. And so here's an example where I can select from my computer any document, whether it's PDF or a Word version or a PowerPoint. And after I drag and drop, it'll upload, and then it'll ask me, well, what language do you want me to translate it into? And if I choose, for example, Spanish or Russian or Italian, no matter what language, it'll translate it in the matter of seconds. It'll ask me, where do you want to save it? And I tell it wherever I put it. And look at what it does. It translated my entire document. That's an example. This is a real life example of it translating into Russian. And not only did it translate it, but it used the special characters of that language. And if you notice, it also kept the formatting. So DeepL, it used to take me hours. Actually, I used to have to pay people to translate documents. And now I can just upload a document and it'll keep that same documents formatting when I upload it and translate it. So these are real life examples of an online training course we did in Spanish. Handouts we did in Mandarin and Russian. And so it's available for you to use today if you need to reach a larger population that has different language needs. So DeepL, let me go back. Upload a file and DeepL will translate it into any language while keeping the format the same. So not only can it translate or generate information and help you understand information, but as we go down the path of the last two things that you can do, you can kind of see where some of the risks come, but it's good to know what they are. AI can help you narrate audio. So there are tools out there like Speechelo that can narrate voices where you just copy and paste text and it'll create a computer voice. So you've probably heard these voices in the past, but sometimes the AI voices sound too much like they're computer generated. And maybe you want to use your own voice to narrate something.
At Blitzmetrics, we use Overdub to correct mistakes in our training videos. What a huge time savings to not have to manually edit segments. And Overdub helps us send
This is Sam from Sam Talks Technology and Podland News. This is my overdub voice. We use it to do commercial ad breaks in our show and to make corrections to existing audio without having to go back into the studio. It sounds great and, importantly, saves us time.
So if you had information that you needed to add a voice to, you can spend 10 minutes reading a prompt and AI like Descript will recognize your voice. And then in the future, all you need to type in is new words. It'll create a voice. It'll use your voice to narrate that information instead of a computer generated voice. So record your voice and Descript Overdub. Well, sometimes it'll edit out your errors, but more importantly, it can clone your voice. Artificial intelligence can do so much. It can probably the most amazing thing to me is that it can produce videos. You used to need special computers and special software to do this, and you used to need to have special skills to produce videos. But now I'm going to go to Steve AI, and I have the script I pre-wrote, so I'm going to just select and copy this script. And once I get those words, I'll go to Steve AI, I'll click on text to video, and I'm telling it I want an animated video. And then I just go into and paste that script that I pre-wrote. I might edit it, but when I click on next, it'll analyze my words. It'll ask me, what template do I want to use? Well, maybe I want to use this one in the middle. And it'll generate an entire animated video based on my script. It'll create scenes with people that I can go ahead and change out into another character. I can give them different clothes. I can make them do different activities. I can go ahead and give it a voiceover and music. So listen to this.
Sometimes disability checks just aren't enough. Did you know that there is a way to get back to work at full pay, even while you're healing? If your doctor prescribes modified or light duty, your supervisor work with your restrictions, and possibly provide a temporary position for you elsewhere on campus.
So Steve.ai, you can search for it, and all you have to do is add a script, and Steve AI will create an animated or a cinematic video for you. If you want a more cinematic video experience, you can use something like Flicky, F-L-I-K-I.
The University of California's Return to Work program is designed to promote healing, relieve mental stress, and increase your sense of job security. It takes just 3 easy steps. 1. Submit medical documentation. 2. Get reasonable accommodations. 3. Participate in the Work Strong program.
So it's the same concept where you just copy and paste a script and it'll figure out based on your words what images or videos to match up with it, and it'll give you music in the background. So Flicky is a tool, but probably one of the most impressive tools out there, and this is the last one, the most impressive tools out there is an AI that can generate a talking head or an AI avatar. And Eli, E-L-A-I, is the easiest one to use so far. So the way that it works is you just basically open it up, choose a character. Maybe you want to change it out, maybe you want this person, or you want a male, or you want somebody with red hair, or maybe they are wearing different clothes. But basically you can tell it, this is language that I want them to speak into. And if you don't know that language yourself, you can go into something like ChatGPT to paste a set of words and tell it to translate it into that language. Like in this case, I wanted to translate into Arabic. Give me those characters that I'm just copying and pasting it into Eli. And then now it'll generate voiceover for me in multiple languages. I can give it a background and I can give it words on the screen. It's an all-encompassing video editing tool that uses nothing but your browser, and you don't need special skills. You just need to know how to put the equivalent of a PowerPoint together. So the equivalent of a PowerPoint together. If you can do a PowerPoint, then you have the skills to create a talking avatar video. And I'm just going to give you a really quick sample of what it looks like to create a video in 5 seconds using Eli.
Jeanette is cool. She uses technology to teach people stuff.
Si Jeanette ay astig. Gumagamit siya ng teknolohiya upang turuan ang mga tao ng mga bagay.
Jeanette es genial. Usa la tecnología para enseñar cosas a la gente.
珍妮特很酷，她是用技术来教人们东西。
So you heard it from here, or you heard it around the world. People are talking about how cool I am. It's pretty awesome. But that was an example of Eli. And if you speak any of those languages, you can kind of tell that it's pretty spot on with the accents. And you would never have known it was created just by copying and pasting text into an artificial intelligence tool. So let's summarize. Artificial intelligence can help you do 7 new things. You can use Slides AI and Tone to present slides. You can use something like Canva to draw images for you. ChatGPT, Triton GPT, or ChatDoc to write, code, or solve problems. DeepL, D-E-E-P-L, to translate languages into documents and keep their formatting. You can use something like Speechalo to narrate computer voices for audio, or you can produce videos using Steve AI, Flicky, or Eli. It's pretty cool what artificial intelligence can do. But if it's so cool, then what's the big deal, right? Why isn't it something that we're using avidly today? Well, it might be because of things like this, deepfakes. So you can use ChatGPT to create words in your style, your tone, or somebody else's. You can use Eli to create a selfie avatar that has your look. And you can use Descript.com overdub to clone your voice. And what you end up having is something like this. And before I play this video, I wanted to see if you could put in the chat whether you think that this is a real person or a fake person. So while you're watching the video or after watching it, put in the chat whether you think it's a real or fake person.
Hola, soy Kevin Confetti, subdirector de riesgos en la oficina del presidente, Oficina de Servicios de Riesgo. Tras el entrenamiento esperamos que comprendas que no estás solo y que tu campus cuenta con recursos para apoyarte en este proceso.
So what do you guys think? Put in the chat if it's fake or real. Fake or real. This person who claims that they're Kevin Confetti, who, by the way, is somebody at the UC Office of the President, and he's our Chief Risk Officer. I just met with him this morning, and I showed him this, and I had to ask him, is this you or is it somebody else? A lot of people are putting fake, but then I do see a handful of people putting real. Question mark, right? So this is actually a fake, sorry, it's a real person, but their voice was fake. And what I did was I took an existing video that's out there. There's videos of us out there in the internet, and I used a tool to translate their words into Spanish. And so when you watch them, you can't even tell that an AI made his voice change or took his voice and made his words change into another language. So here's the Spanish that you just saw.
Hola, soy Kevin Confetti, subdirector de riesgos en la oficina del presidente, oficina de servicios de riesgo.
And this was the original voice and the original video in English.
Hello, I'm Kevin Confetti, and I'm the Deputy Chief Risk Officer in the Office of the President, Office of Risk Services.
So it's a real person, just a fake persona of his speaking another language. And I use something called HeyGen, a free tool that I just uploaded a video that anybody can download from online to have him speak a language. And it's not just Spanish. I could have chosen Tagalog or Mandarin or Russian, Arabic. I could have chosen any language and it would have changed him for us. So it's interesting, but it's also the reason why I always talk about the ethics and risks around artificial intelligence. Probably the top 5 risks that you'll hear about that I wanted to briefly touch on are bias, hallucinations, propaganda, data leaks, and deceit. So bias. Artificial intelligence is known to heavily be based on whatever data sets it's being given. So like it, for example, guesses male faces better than females. It was used to evaluate tenants based on biased data sets, such as court records or their disabilities, rather than the qualifications of their application. It does not show compassion when evaluating candidates for disabilities. And I guess the best example I have is Amazon. Amazon used to use AI to screen all their job applicants, but then they terminated it recently because they realized that their algorithm kept favoring only men, only men as the most qualified applicants in the screening process instead of females. And it kind of makes sense because in the early days of Amazon, they were mostly hiring men for warehouse jobs. So that's why it kept saying, well, the only qualified person was a man. And so because of that, the data set being biased towards men being hired more often, it thought that the best qualified person was a male. So that's an example of how AI can be biased. And the reason why it can be biased is because all artificial intelligence is, large language models like ChatGPT, all artificial intelligence is just math being applied to words. It's somebody applying probability to words so that you get back whatever words or images or videos that you want to see. So if people are assigning probability to words, then that is sort of bias that's being built into the training of an artificial intelligence. And if those words, if those data sets already have bias and discrimination built into them, then you're just going to get bias right back. Another risk of artificial intelligence is hallucinations. And you might hear about this, but still ask, what is a hallucination? Well, artificial intelligence like ChatGPT can give you an incorrect fact so assertively that you naturally would take it as truth. But what it does is actually, basically, it pulls information out from the world in the internet, and it creates something new. It synthesizes it and creates something new. But that something new may not altogether be true. So here's an example where I asked it to tell me about Jeanette Ducat at UC Riverside. And it told me that I was a basketball player. I played for UC Riverside. I averaged 11 rebounds, 11 points, 3 rebounds. I took my team to Greece and I played professionally. I was a basketball player in the past. I am associated with Riverside, but I never played for Riverside. I played at it. I could not have done 11 points. In fact, I think I got negative 11 points average per game because I'm really short. And I have gone to Greece, but not as a basketball player. And I professionally work for UC Riverside, but you see how it kind of pulled together information from all over the world and it synthesized it into something that's absolutely not true? That is a hallucination. And you might hear about these cases of like a set of lawyers using it to set precedents and write into a docket about other cases to help support their position. Well, a judge found that when they did use ChatGPT, the cases that came up and were written into the court docket were absolutely fake. They didn't exist. They came out of nowhere. And so it can cause a lot of problems when people rely on artificial intelligence as the end all and be all of information. So bias and hallucinations and propaganda. So Midjourney was used to create fake media that looked so real, a lot of people could not tell that they were just computer generated. And in fact, generative AI really prevents us from knowing whether something is real or fake. So you'll probably see this a lot in the next year during election season. I think the more recent example was Steve Curry was talking about some incident. Somebody put words in his mouth and it looked like him, and people could not tell that it was not that person speaking because they used avatars like I showed you earlier. So AI can create propaganda and cause a lot of problems if we're not sure about it. I bet you didn't know, for example, that the Pope was wearing a hip hop bomber jacket from New York or had a Lamborghini that he was signing on. A lot of people, including me, thought that these were real images, but they're not. They're AI generated. So propaganda. Cybersecurity is the biggest issue, data leaks. In this example, Samsung, their employees copied some of their coding into ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT to figure out where the problems in their coding were, because it can do that. It can not only create code, but it can also correct your code and your algorithm. But these Samsung employees forgot that they were saving or copying and pasting proprietary data, personal data, into a web browser. And anytime you save or paste or enter things into a web browser, it will always be able to get leaked out into the world. So we always tell people, don't put personal information or secure information into any Chat GPT or any Triton GPT, because it will leak. And the last risk is probably my most favorite, is deceit. So there was an example of a research company that gave some money to an artificial intelligence and asked it to replicate that amount of money to make more money out of it. So, and that's what we're going to talk about next. It can do that. You can open, so they opened up a bank account, gave access to the AI to access the funds, and it started doing that. It started creating brokerage accounts. It started sourcing products from another company, another website, and creating website to sell it. But then it had the problem where it came across this CAPTCHA puzzle and it couldn't proceed because an artificial intelligence can't solve this puzzle. But what the artificial intelligence did is it went to a website like TaskRabbit. So there are websites where you can hire people to do things for you. So it went to TaskRabbit and it hired somebody to solve this puzzle. The worker actually asked the AI through emails, "You're not a robot, are you, that's trying to solve this puzzle?" And you know what the artificial intelligence did in response in an email? The AI said that, "No, I'm not a robot. I have a visual impairment that makes it hard for me to see the images, which is why I need to hire you." So the artificial intelligence essentially lied to the employee, and the employee, who was just getting paid maybe $5 to do that task, believed it and basically solved the puzzle, and the AI went on its way to continue to build its empire of products or whatever it was supposed to do. So AI can and has tricked humans to work for it and do things on its behalf. And those are the risks: bias, hallucinations, propaganda, data leaks, and deceit. But I think it's important to know that risks are always going to abound no matter what you're doing. You could be driving down the street and you're risking getting in an accident. So what do? You mitigate it by putting seatbelts and learning how to be a better driver. I'm showing you a picture of Cheryl Lloyd. She was previously the chief risk officer, and I was at lunch and I was listening to her, and she said something one day that really changed my perspective of risk and my life really. She said that you can't just say no to something just because it's risky. The University of California is inherently risky. In fact, research takes risks to discover new things, and so does medicine. So avoiding risk is probably the biggest risk you can take. So instead of shying away from AI, look at mitigating it, right? Put on those seatbelts, get educated on what it can do and what it doesn't do and what it shouldn't do. And that way you can keep ahead of the curve, but not put yourself in a worse off situation. So I'm going to close by saying artificial intelligence, especially generative AI, is really impacting the way that we work now in a good way. But there are changes coming. It's not actually about just the tools that I shared with you today. It's about the way information is getting created, how it's getting delivered, and how it's getting consumed. So now there's a lot more information out there getting created by more and more people. And so a lot of the times we have to figure out how to deliver information in shorter bursts rather than kind of just spewing it out just because we can. So it's really going to hopefully change the way that you concisely communicate with others. If you've heard about TikTok, TikTok is a really good example. It's 1 to 3 minute videos. It's pretty much the level of attention you can have with somebody when you're sharing something new. So if you can find a way to use AI to create information, but make it do it concisely, the better off you'll be. But what's next, right? AI is not just going to be integrated. It's actually already integrated. It's already here. It's already in a lot of the common software and applications if you haven't already seen it. So if you use Google Workspace, there's already an AI integrated. Microsoft has Copilot AI, and here is an example of it in a spreadsheet where you're basically telling it, you can tell it to sort, to grab more data, improve the data, improve the output. So it's already built in as a side window. ChatGPT 4 understands memes, like it understands like a human, and Canva can help you write things. So where it's going is what's called autonomous AI. Now you can give AI a goal and it'll execute for you. So Agent GPT, Auto GPT, ChatGPT 4, and what I'm sharing with you is God mode. So basically, you can give it a task like take this $100 in this one bank account, and by the end of the month, make it $1 million. And it'll say, okay, to do that, you have to do all of these tasks. And if you approve it, then what the AI will do is work in the background to execute those tasks. So if you give it access to that $100, it'll open up another $100 brokerage account. It'll kind of think about which stocks to invest in and buy and sell when it's right, with a goal that you have of doubling, tripling, quadrupling your money in that account. Or in the example that I shared with earlier, maybe you give it a goal of multiplying this $100 to $1 million by buying a bunch of things from AliExpress or China and then selling it at a steeper price on Amazon. However it is that you want it to do, whatever you agree for it to do, it'll do it for you without you having to be in front of the computer. You could be sleeping and it'll be executing the tasks in the background. And that is autonomous AI. That is not just where we're going, it is actually here. It is something you can do today and that people use now. AI is getting really, really smarter and smarter at doing things it never used to do before, like recognizing images, and I'll share with you why that's relevant. Here's an example where I uploaded an image of myself on Pimeyes, P-I-M-E-Y-E-S. This is an image of me on the University of California website. It's out in the public. And what it did is it gave me all the images that look like me and where they were located. And many of these images I recognized, but some of them I didn't, like this one in the middle. I actually didn't know where I was. I'm like, that is me, but I didn't know, and I didn't remember taking this photo. Then I remembered that I was at a conference where there were tens of thousands of people in Las Vegas, and I was just eating lunch with somebody, and there was somebody taking a photograph of the entire event. And so what AI did was it recognized my face in an image out of the entire set of images in the whole world and the internet. It found me in their storage system. I'm not sure where they kept it. And it told me that that's where I'm at. It also took this picture in the bottom left-hand corner, which I didn't remember taking, but I remembered I was at an Nest Christmas party, eating again, and somebody was taking photos. And this photo, the only place you can find it is in a SharePoint site that's controlled with the password at my campus. So it finds, it recognizes, first of all, your image amongst billions and billions of images, but it can also go deep and find you in places you never thought existed and that are also password protected. That's how strong AI is today. And it can do simple things like if you took your phone and went to your fridge and had ChatGPT 4 open, and you took a picture of your fridge and you could ask it, based on the ingredients, what can I make for dinner tonight? And it'll tell you, well, based on what you're showing me, I see that there's grapes here and ham there. I think you can make either a fruit salad or a cheese omelet and 5 or 6 other things. It would also give you ways of making it. And I think that's amazing because I can't even do that today. Like I look in my fridge and I don't know what to make. So I could use AI to help me do that. But what I'm saying is that it can give you recommendations based on what it sees in the world that you take in a photo. So can you imagine like going to, for example, a laboratory and taking a picture? You can ask artificial intelligence, what's wrong with this lab? And it'll give you a report and recommendations. A small example. That being said, now's the time. Right now is a time to get good at using these tools, especially at UCSD, where you guys are kind of paving the way with Triton GPT and these other tools. Now it's time to get good at using them to adapt and just basically free up your time to do higher level, like human stuff, right? We should look at AI as like little helpers that we have to tell or ask it to do different things. And I think that's important because I know personally at my point in this point in my career, I really don't want to be in front of a computer anymore. I don't want to be calculating things or typing stuff. I kind of want to go and take a nap or visit my kids at school or actually eat lunch for once during the workday. And so if there's any tool that can help me do things faster or augment the really mundane and routine work that I have to do, then I will jump and do it. And as long as I know what the risks are, I can know how to mitigate it, but it'll make my life a little faster. So hopefully you can see that it does for you as well. And lastly, in the past, your ability to influence and be successful used to be about your ability to create the most content, right? Somebody who is known as a very intelligent speaker, presenter is known because of the information that they have and the amount of engagements that they have or speakings that they can put out there. But if everybody can create content using AI in just a handful of seconds, then there's just going to be a lot of content out there. So it's not about the amount of information you can generate or documents. It's about whether you have the best content. So really what I'm trying to say is that your ideas are going to be what helps you stand out. So when it comes to AI, kind of start by focusing on a vision and a plan before jumping to the tools. Figure out what you want to do tomorrow that's different, then find the tool to do that for you. Okay, so we're at the end. I shared with you 7 things you can do with AI. You can produce slides, draw images, mine data, translate languages, narrate and make videos. We talked about the ethics and risks, such as bias, hallucinations and propaganda, deceit, and the changes coming, autonomous AI, image recognition, and the changing landscape of data consumption. So if you would like, here is a QR code, which we can share later when we send out the presentation materials. But if you use your phone, which is using an AI tool, by the way, to scan it on your camera, you can download a copy of this presentation, and it'll have links to all the videos that I shared today, as well as a link to if you click on cheat sheets, it's a link to prompts that you can start to use if you're trying to do certain things in either Triton GPT or Chat GPT. So it just helps you know how to write out a role and task and a format that'll help you be a better prompter. So you can download this later. We'll also share the recording as well. My name is Jeanette Ducut. You can find me at Riverside. I really love talking about this topic. This is probably the 15th talk I've had, and I'm really excited to talk about. So let me know if you have any questions and if there is anything else that I can do for you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. I think all of us have either learned something new or are scared for our lives, but hopefully bordering on the learn something new, and we'll be able to utilize it. I was test driving some of the Copilot stuff on Friday, and there are some spelling errors that Copilot hasn't quite figured out when creating some of the logos. So we'll definitely know on some of these cases if it's not a human. But I think this was just amazing. And really do appreciate your time and appreciate everyone joining us. So if you all have any questions, Jeanette put up her contact information, or you can email us rmp-idea@ucsd.edu, and we can get those questions out to her, or try Triton GPT on that question. Brian, do you have anything to add?
No, I think it was awesome. I think we all learned something, and like you said, we can use this to better ourselves and better our careers, but be mindful of the pitfalls and don't fall into them. So thank you for your time, and everybody have a wonderful week, and I'll see you at the next one.
Bye. Thank you.